2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome into it. Hey, happy Friday. Getting you set for the weekend, man. It's been a long one, the first full work week of the year for 2026. Yeah, it's been a crazy one, so we'll get you set for the weekend. I know you are excited about that. Plus, we have some new streamers on with us here. If you are on a new YouTube channel, what's up, my friends? 9:30 a.m. The Answer, the 9:30 The Answer TV, your YouTube channel down in San Antonio, Texas. We love you guys. We are now broadcasting live on your YouTube. You also can hear the program on the radio side at midnight throughout the week as well. Pretty awesome. Got a lot to talk about for sure. Katie Asher will be on the program with us. We'll get away from politics a little bit at the bottom of the hour and talk about a documentary known as the Telepathy Tapes and a memoir about autism, being able to talk to the other side. We'll get some of that and a heck of a lot more. Let's do this thing. Hang tight.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Why, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your Friday. You finally made it, man. It's been a crazy week. It's been a long week, the first full work week of 2026, and you are done. So pat yourself on the back. You scream, I scream, we all scream for ice cream. Although it is not National Ice Cream Day, that would be the day that Joe Biden officially dropped out of the presidential race of 2024. Yeah, we're a year and a half after that. We will continue on with that one. Great to have you. It is a Friday. Plenty to talk about. We're going to get away from politics a little bit at the bottom of the hour. Katie Asher will be on the program. She is the author of the latest book, The Book of Heaven. She is a mom. She is an author. She is a memoirist. As we talk about a new documentary that's known as the Telepathy Tapes. And if you don't know this, it's been discussed on a few other podcasts, the Joe Rogan podcast, other places, of students with autism. And she's a mom of an autistic child, talking about how autistic children, do they have a deeper connection to the spiritual side and non-physical side? And have they been able to see things that others have not been able to see? So, kind of a fun conversation. We'll do that at the bottom of the hour with Katie Asher. First and foremost, kind of a personal note here for all the prayer warriors out there. I got word literally about 10 minutes before we went on the air, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but just want to let you know, Mrs. Voice of Reason, that has had many health issues. She battles lupus, an autoimmune issue that, for those that don't know, about 7 months ago, back in June of last year, ended up getting a large kidney stone that was too big to pass, got blocked, caused an infection, and ended up causing sepsis.
Say what?
Now, it took her a long time to recover, took her most of the year to recover from that. Well, we just found out that she has another kidney stone that is, again, too big to pass. Luckily, I forced her to go and get a scan because I would not accept just being like, I feel all right, I think we're okay. Well, I would not accept that. She got a scan today. She has another 9-millimeter stone that is too big to pass. Luckily, still in the kidney, but we want to get it out before she has any issues, causes an infection, or blocks anything up and causes sepsis. And for those that know how dangerous sepsis is, it takes about a year to recover from it. And if she got it now, probably wouldn't make it. So good news. Thank God we caught it in time. We can figure out a pathway to get rid of the stone. And but prayer warriors for everybody, just for thoughts of prayers to make sure that she gets through this one and that we can get past it. So that way we don't have to worry about this kind of garbage. So And for those that are asking, Andy, what kind of diet does she have? Does she drink a lot of soda, eat a lot of meat? No, she doesn't do any of that. She has lupus, and that's just, it always likes to, for some reason, attack her kidneys. She's been on a kidney transplant list, or she was back in the day before we realized what it was. And this is just one area where her lupus likes to flare up and attack her body. Being the herbalist that she is, she has a couple different alternative medicines and different herbs and roots that she drinks that helps break up stones, and it's been doing very well. But this one just happened. And there it is. So I'm not going to spend any more time on it, but we got that word just literally a couple minutes before came on the air. Thoughts and prayers are appreciated. We love you guys. Thank you very much. Let's get into what's trending here, shall we?
What's trending today?
Plenty to talk about for sure. I don't know if you've seen or not. There is a new video that has surfaced online. We shared it on our social media pages, which you can find our social media at Hooser Reason, Hooser Reason, our website at HooserReason.com with all the links on it as well. The video of the ICE agent that was run over in Minneapolis. Now, according to the original videos that were surfacing out there from the protesters that had uploaded it to prove that ICE was the evil, horrible, terrible human beings that they are, that they said that the individual was not ran over. The individual did not try to run anybody over and was being she was scared for her life. ICE was intimidating her. She was just happened to be there blocking traffic, parked sideways on the side of the road. We don't know how she got there, but by golly, she got there. And then ICE, of course, was abusing her because they're the tyrannical Nazi fascists that they are, that were trying to kill her intentionally. So she was trying to get away and was shot innocently. That was the story. Now we have a new video. And the new video was actually from the agent that was in front of the vehicle. She had done a walk around of the vehicle, got the license plate, was talking to her, where she was, of course, I'm not scared of you, trying to be very authoritative. As the other ICE agents approached her to say, get out of the vehicle, which we cannot air because there's many explicits to it. But as they said, get out of the vehicle, then she started taking off in a rush, in which case the individual was hit and ended up falling to the ground. You can see it on video. So the entire narrative that we had heard from the other side of the story kind of debunked. Didn't really work out. So Democrats, again, a complete failure on absolute reality because they only see what they want to see. They put the lens on, they put the blinders on, and they say these aren't the droids you're looking for, and then they go about their day. That being said, even with this new information, the mayor of Minneapolis has continued to double down on advocating for ICE to leave town.
And, you know, this notion of inflammatory comments, I mean, come on, guys. You know, I dropped an F-bomb. They killed somebody. Which one of those is more inflammatory? I'm going with the killing somebody.
All right, so that's the statement. The mayor, the governor, still doubling down. ICE is the most terrible, horrible human beings on the face of the earth. Everybody that obstructs them, that tries to violently go after law enforcement, that attacks cops, that includes ICE, they're the good guys. Cops are bad. They're always the ones that are to blame because they're always the ones at fault. So that's the narrative. But now with the video, we can literally see it. It's online. You can't deny it. That's literally what happened. So, you know, that's it. You can make your own judgment as you see the video now from the firsthand experience of the guy that actually got hit, and then make your own judgment there. But again, it won't be enough for those that live in the alternate reality. That being said, I don't want to spend the entire show on that. I want to shift gears to something else that's not being talked about.
What's trending today?
And it's not being talked about because all the attention is on this individual up in Minneapolis and the protests and the ICE. And now we have protests in Portland, and we have protests in Seattle, and we have arrests going on and people just being belligerent. And of course, now Governor Tim Walz calling the National Guard up in Minnesota. But Congress is still in action. And in fact, I'm not sure if you're aware or not, we are now 2 weeks away from the end of the month of January. I know, blow your mind there. 2-3 weeks away from the end of January. And that means that we have an appropriations process that needs to be finished up, or else the government could shut down. And you know what happens when the government shuts down.
We're all gonna die because of you!
Yeah. So Congress still working hard at bay. We haven't heard much of them. But while they're supposed to be discussing appropriation bills, we have Democrats, including Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer from both chambers, that are talking about, of course, this ICE issue and how bad they are, demonizing Donald Trump. They're in campaign mode. They're not talking policy. They're not trying to get a whole lot done. They're in campaign mode, wanting to get their statements out, wanting to make their sound bites and their little clips to go on social media, that they are fighting against the Nazi fascist regime that is Donald Trump.
The situation that took place in Minnesota is a complete and total disgrace.
A disgrace.
That masked ICE agent showed reckless disregard for human life
She didn't, though. No.
and unnecessarily killed an American citizen,
Yeah.
leaving children
Uh-huh.
without their mother.
It's so dramatic.
The extremism that we've seen unleashed on the American people by the administration has been out of control.
All right. So, of course, playing on the emotion. Now, again, it's absolutely horrible, devastating. With the fear of what could happen to my wife, I understand. My 11-year-old daughter could be without a mother if she got sick and something happened to her. I understand that. I'm not belittling that part of it. What I'm saying is the fact that this is what they focus on. If you're a mother and a responsible mother, maybe you don't try to block law enforcement during a protest. I don't know. That's a wild concept, right? Maybe be a little bit more responsible of an adult or a parent. And if you have children, then you may not want to put yourself in harm's way like that and then them try to use it for some political grandstanding like Hakeem Jeffries is doing. So they're out there almost on a daily doing these press conferences, talking about how bad Donald Trump is, talking about how bad ICE is. The problem is the narrative's not working. Since the investigation and the exposure of the fraud in Minnesota, Trump's approval ratings have gone up. Since the arrest of Nicolas Maduro, Trump's approval ratings have gone up. And the distraction has been Congress is working on a lot that we don't really know about. But did you know, this is where the headlines come from, is that did you know the House did approve a couple more appropriation bills? Were you aware of that? Because I sure wasn't. According to thehill.com, they were passed yesterday with 3 of the appropriation bills actually getting bipartisan support moving forward. And the question is, what the heck's on the details of these? What are we cutting? What are we reforming? We have DOJ is still trying to reform some of the wasteful spending and the fraudulent spending within the government. We're exposing billions of dollars of fraud within the state of Minnesota alone on social programs, and we're just passing through appropriation bills without saying, hey, wait a second, maybe we should take a deeper look at these and make sure that what we are approving doesn't have any fraudulent spending going out to programs that aren't really real. According to thehill.com, the bills would fund the Department of Justice, the Department of Commerce, science agencies and other related entities that include the Department of Energy and Water Development, the Department of Interior, and the Environmental Protection Agency. They're already passed. They're done. Now, here's the crazy part. It voted in a total bipartisan package of 397 to 28. And it goes to the Senate now with these 3 appropriation bills. If the Senate passes them, which I don't know that they will because they still need their 60 votes, then it goes to the do they? Do the appropriations process? Do they have a simple majority? I don't remember. Then it goes to the president's desk and they sign it. I believe they need the supermajority, the filibuster majority of 60 votes. I could be wrong on that. But here's the thing. I'm just speculating. I don't know because we don't have a whole lot of details of the bills. But if it's a bipartisan support in a 397 to 28 in order to pass these 3 appropriation bills, I'm just assuming that they're probably not the most fiscally responsible bills, slashing spending, reforming government agencies, and getting rid of social program cuts. Do you think that's actually happening? Could be wrong on that one, but I doubt that's actually happening right now. According to Tom Cole, a congressman from the state of Oklahoma, quote, the bipartisan bicameral package reflects steady progress towards completing the fiscal year 26 funding responsibility. The invests in priorities crucial to the American people, making our community safer, supporting affordable and reliable energy, and responsibly managing vital resources. That's a very broad spectrum. By the way, that's from the House Appropriations Committee that made that statement. But I'm just assuming that if we're saying we're investing in this, investing in that, investing in that, probably not the whole smaller government trying to get rid of wasteful spending that we're actually looking for. Because we have a $7 trillion budget that's $2 trillion above what it was during COVID. And we could probably say comfortably with $9 billion of wasteful spending in Minnesota alone that probably the wasteful spending is probably up to close to $1 trillion nationwide with all the states, right? We could probably assume that. So where's the cuts? At the same time, Donald Trump sent a Truth Social out yesterday, which is kind of an interesting concept of wanting to increase our military budget by $500 billion to total $1.5 trillion, saying that we would have the best military in the world, and we can do so between the revenue of the tariffs and by being able to still pay down debt in the nation. I don't know if that's necessarily true. If we are going to spend anywhere, I guess the military is the place to do it because that is the only constitutional place really for the government to be spending lots of money to upgrade equipment, not social programs. But we still have social programs out there. In fact, these appropriation bills almost had a new investment for Somali community funding.
Say what?
There was I know, get this one. So there was an earmark in one of the appropriation bills that was presented by Congresswoman Ilhan Omar from the state of Minnesota that would have provided a Somali-led organization in her district to have more, quote, community project funding. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a second. That really happened? She has the huevos, which I got to admit probably has more huevos than most Republicans in Congress right now. She has the huevos during a time of investigation of Somali community fraud to put in more community funding projects from a Somali community. She did it. Luckily, it was pulled out as Republicans threw a fit about that. But outside of that, we don't know a lot of the details of these bills.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Thank Vice President J.D. Vance, who's doing a fantastic job. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, likewise a fantastic job. I have good people.
Yeah, we do.
I like them better than my first group. But we had a great, despite that, we had a great first term. We had some great people there too, by the way. But we had a great first term. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country in the first term, but this is blowing it away. And you haven't seen anything yet.
All right, so President Donald Trump, by the way, he had a sit-down today with some of the oil and gas industry talking about investments in Venezuela, what we're going to do with the oil and gas industry. That's where that came from. And he's absolutely right. We have one of the best teams. I cannot think of a better team if I were in office trying to put together a team to try and run Washington, D.C. These guys are rock stars. We appreciate everything that they're doing. J.D. Vance rocked it with the press conference yesterday with Caroline Leavitt. So Donald Trump recognizes that, and that's really cool. So well done to those guys. Hey, I want to tell you about my friends over at J&S Smoked Snacks. I know you're coming out of the holidays, and that means you maybe are on your New Year's resolutions, your New Year's resolution kick. You're trying to stay healthy, but yet you want some snacks. You want to enjoy something. Well, beef jerky is usually a good way to go. I'm a sucker for beef jerky, but sometimes if you go to the gas station, it's overly processed. It's not really meat. It's really expensive, really chewy, kind of weird. This is not your gas station beef jerky. It's real cuts of meat. It's real seasoning, and it's really, really good. And for my listeners, if you go to jssmokesnacks.com, jssmokesnacks.com, you can pick out any 4 bags of beef jerky that you want, any flavor that you want, mix and match them all. They have a lot of different flavors and new ones coming out for $47.45. $47.45. Get the whole Donald Trump $47.45 thing. Go to jssmokesnacks.com, jssmokesnacks.com, and use the promo code REASON at checkout and get those 4 bags of beef jerky with our special of $47.45 with our friends over at J&S Smoke Snacks. All right, so by the way, speaking of the whole, now the investigation's going on, some data being collected with the fraud up in Minnesota. We have the video that's being surfaced of the actual ICE agent that was hit by the vehicle of the individual. The statement from Kristi Noem, there's been a statement now from the Department of Homeland Security saying that more ICE agents will be going there, even though that the mayor and the governor do not want them to be there. We're pretty much, here's what we have to say to that. Hey, Mayor, hey, Governor Tim Walz, here's our thoughts on you telling ICE to get out. What was that? Hold on, I didn't quite hear that again. What was that? Hold on, didn't quite get it. One more time. That's right, one more time just to make sure you heard it. In fact, Kristi Noem has made the statement that now they're planning to go door to door where they believe illegal migrants may be criminal illegal migrants going door to door. It's extremely preventable. Just like the lady who got shot now, unfortunately, and those children, yes, are left without a mother. That's devastating. Maybe be a little bit better responsible adult by not putting yourself in harm's way and blocking law enforcement. Just a wild concept. But this going door to door in Minneapolis, in the state of Minnesota, that could have been completely prevented as well. You want to know how? Work with law enforcement. Get the bad guys and turn them over to ICE. Don't be a sanctuary city. And if you do that, law enforcement openly said, ICE openly said, Kristi Noem openly said, we wouldn't have to come into the community. Give us the bad guys, help us deport them, and we'll get out of them, and you'll never see us on the streets. You'll never see any operation, period, end of story. But that's not what's happening. In fact, they have forgotten the key message and lesson of life and reality is that there are actions and reactions. There's a cause and an effect. There's a consequence to a decision. If you block law enforcement, and if you're protesting them in a violent manner, or at least in a blocking manner, and you run somebody over, you could potentially get harmed. Cause and effect. We don't want you to get harmed. That's just the way it is. Someone threw a rock or something at law enforcement in another protest, they got arrested. Cause and effect. If you would turn over bad guys to ICE to where we don't have to come into the streets, then we wouldn't have to come into the streets. Action. Reaction. It's called reality, something that you need to remember because apparently we've lost that concept. Got a lot more to get to. Back after this for the Voice of Reason.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hoosier Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosier-holic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosier-holics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did two guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country. so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
You tell us things like, well, the immigrants are bad. And so we got to get all these bills because the immigrants are the ones that are causing the harm. They're bringing the crime.
Yeah.
The mayor of Minneapolis told y'all to get...
Very angry.
Yeah, y'all are the ones. It is this administration that is bringing crime to their streets. That's what's happening. There are going to be protests around this entire country because of the state-sanctioned execution that we all saw unfold, unless there is some kind of justice that takes place and we get the name of that officer and that officer is prosecuted.
All right, so that's Jasmine Crockett. She was on one of the committees recently and going after the individual. Very good. By the way, running for the Senate in the state of California. We'll see how well that one works out for her. You think that's going to go well? All right. Insanity. All right, it's a Friday. We are, it's the first full work week for the month of January after all the holidays. I know you're probably burnt out. I want to get away from the politics because it's crazy out there. So let's get into something different.
What's trending today?
And really happy to have on the program. And we like to talk about these types of issues frequently as much as we can. But is there a link between autism and being able to see or connect with things that we normally don't get to see in the physical world? There's a documentary out there known as the Telepathy Tapes that kind of researched this a little bit, and really happy to have on a writer, researcher, and a mother who's been dealing with some of this as well with her latest memoir, A Book of Heaven, a story of hope for the outcasts, the broken, and those who lost faith. Really happy to have on the program Katie Asher. Katie, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate you very much. So for those that don't know, I'm super excited to chat about where we're going in this, because hopefully science can begin to catch up to personal experience and the things that we don't quite understand. Let's start at the beginning here. Before we go into your book, let's talk about the Telepathy Tapes. I know they've been showcased on other podcasts. Joe Rogan and other people have talked about this issue, but for those that don't know what it is, what the heck are the Telepathy Tapes?
Sure thing. So the Telepathy Tapes actually came out of, I had agreed to partner with Kai Dickens, the producer, and Dr. Diane Powell, and I brought in some other families because I'd already written our memoir in 2021, and I was trying to find a scientist to back up what I was experiencing, which was that my son could see and experience the spiritual realm in Technicolor. And that was extraordinary. So that was the beginning of it. And then Kai, the director, kept trying to pitch the idea to networks, and they were indifferent. They said no one would be interested in this. We're like, what, are you crazy?
Wow. Okay.
And so at a last-ditch effort, she's like, well, I'm going to do this podcast and just do proof of concept.
Yeah.
And so the proof of concept was that everybody's brain was blown, and they were like, okay, we need more. What is this? What's going on? How does this happen? What are they experiencing? And all the rest. So she did a podcast. Houston and I, that's my son, we were featured predominantly in season 1. And then there's talk tracks, and then there's season 2 that's out right now. And it's not some of it is definitely kind of more untraditional conversations, but the conversations I'm predominantly focused on are the gifts and abilities of non-speakers.
Wow. So what a theory out there. And we've always known, and I've had a theory for a long time without even knowing about this topic in particular, that individuals that do see the world a little bit different, whether it's autism or I've used the example of like schizophrenics that maybe are half inside, half outside of reality. And maybe they are seeing things that are there or hearing things that are there. But the average person, the average brain that's limited to a certain spectrum of color, certain spectrum of sound, that we don't experience these types of things. But it sounds like the science is starting to justify that, hey, something else is going on here.
It is. And so basically, you and I, the neurotypical brain, can perceive with our sensory systems only 4% of the energy. So there's another 96% of the energy. So if during development your brain does not prune all of the sensory synapses or integrate the motor in with the sensory synapses and continue that motor development, then you are left open, still taking in all of that input. The thing about those sensory synapses when we're first born is they are taking in both the material and the immaterial, the metaphysical.
Yeah.
And that can be thought, that can be emotion, that can be spiritual beings, that can be spiritual awareness, all of it. So what's interesting that you mentioned schizophrenics is because Dr. Patterson linked immune issues, especially a cytokine storm of interleukin-6, both maternal onset in autism after birth and neurological injury with autism and schizophrenia as being linked to having these extraordinary experiences, as well as having an immune causation.
What does that mean? What is an immune causation?
So what people don't realize is that your immune system and your neurology, as well as your emotions, are incredibly linked. They all are attached to each other. They can't be unattached. So if you have an immune event that triggers basically a huge activation of the immune system, that immune activity can actually affect neurological motor development, because our motor development is all just neurological wiring. That's all it is.
That's interesting. What a fascinating story. So talk about your son, Houston. Is he where on the spectrum? I know there's a spectrum of autism. I don't know anything about autism, but is he nonverbal as well?
He would be what they would consider for the early part of his life, he was completely nonverbal. And then when he did start getting some language, it was not really language. It was echolalic, which means repeating or scripting. And so what they call unreliable speaker. So right now he would be considered an unreliable speaker. So that is severe. All of his other symptoms along with that put him in the severe category.
Interesting. So the stories of the visions that he's seeing, the things, like you said, seeing the spiritual realm or seeing spiritual beings in a technicolor fashion, how did he describe that? How did he relay that information to you to show, hey, this is what I'm witnessing and experiencing right now?
So what's so incredible was he spent over 2 decades of his life trapped in his body, unable to tell us what he was experiencing. He was experiencing those phenomena the entire time, but he wasn't able to tell us what he was experiencing until we started helping him develop enough gross motor to begin to point to individual letters independently so that he could spell out what he was experiencing. And that's when we found out. And it began with me realizing that him telling me that he could hear thoughts. And of course, I said, "Are you lying?" And he said, "You don't get the kind of gifts that I have if you lie." And that was my first inkling.
Wow.
So I started testing him, and he not only got every single test right, I asked him to tell me what, my friend's son, or my friend's friend who was visiting, my son's friend, that's what I meant to say, who was over visiting, to say what he was thinking, and Houston got it right. We tested him every way we could. Then I started asking him questions in my mind without even speaking, and he spelled out the answer to my question without me ever speaking.
Wow. It's incredible.
Then he started telling me visions and telling me how he actually experienced the world. And then on top of that, he started explaining what was actually going on in his body. For example, that he couldn't feel where he was in space, that he had alternating blindness, that he felt like he was falling out of his feet. All of these things are actually attributed to neurological injury.
Wow. It almost sounds like, feeling like you're falling out of your feet, not sure where you're at in space. It almost sounds like people that experience out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences where maybe they're leaving their body in some fashion.
Well, we have our vestibular system is basically our body's GPS. So if that gets distorted, then the spirit itself really is loosely attached to the physical body. And so the other part of that vestibular system and the neurological system that is so critical is that we actually have a magnetic field.
Sure.
And so if those are disrupted, then your magnetic field is disrupted as well.
Interesting. We're talking with Katie Asher. She's a writer, researcher, and mother, author of the Book of Heaven, a story of hope for the outcast, the broken, and those who lost faith, which you can find on Amazon. You can also check out the telepathy tapes as well for the documentary and the podcast. So I got to ask the question, some of the visions that he's seen, the spiritual realm, the metaphysical realm, what type of things is he seeing? Is he seeing, angels and demons? Or is he seeing the ancestors walking around? I mean, what kind of visions is he having?
Both. And his cover is, we've discovered, was my Aunt Esther and my great Aunt Esther. But what was so incredible was he started describing Scripture not as someone who has memorized Scripture, but as someone who has witnessed it, and he had never read Scripture. He'd never even been exposed to the Scripture.
That's powerful. That's power. If he's witnessing this type of thing on the other side, it should be a vindication. I mean, for some that obviously have faith, that are of Christian faith or any religious faith, that should be a vindication that when these messages, these lessons that are being taught to us through books, that they're more than just words on paper. There's something to live by, right?
This was the most profound experience that changed me, was knowing that the Word of God is ultimately, completely, and totally true.
Yeah.
And that was what totally changed my life, was that I said, I used to believe in God, now I believe God. I take him exactly at his word.
Yeah. So
if he says something, then I'm going to live my life by it.
You're going to listen. And Katie, I love it. Hang on the line. We got to take a hard break. I can't wait to continue this conversation afterwards. The Book of Heaven is the book. You can go and check it out on Amazon. Also check out the documentary and the podcast. Fascinating conversation to wrap up the week. What else could we learn from the other side? We'll do some more of that when we come back. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, D.C.'s broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
Oh, hey, sorry. I was just enjoying one of my snacks during the break. You know, it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives. But I'm here to tell you that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all the social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, welcome back into the program. We got a few minutes left as we wrap things up for your Friday. Happy end of the week to you. I know you've been excited. Pat yourself on the back. You made it. And we'll get you set for a great weekend. We do have our big syndicated program this weekend as well, so don't miss that one on these and so many other great radio stations across the country. Fascinating conversation we're having right now about autism and the visions, the audio, the message from the other side that we'll do here. By the way, got to give a big shout out and welcome to our friends. Obviously, we've been broadcasting down in San Antonio, Texas, KLUP, 930 The Answer, as we're broadcasting down there for our weekend show, our weekday show now that's broadcasting in the late night. And of course now, but they're also now picking up our video YouTube feed live every day. So what's up, guys? Welcome aboard. All right. So KLUP 930 The Answer, or 930 The Answer TV, which you can find on YouTube, and they have a lot of great followers there. We are broadcasting live on their YouTube channel each and every day, so really, really cool. I want to get back to it with our guest, Katie Asher. She's a writer, researcher, mother, and author of the memoir, The Book of Heaven, a story of hope for the outcasts, the broken, and those who lost faith. Katie, I got to ask, you started the research, these neurologists, these doctors, starting to realize something's going on. But do you think modern science is where it needs to be, or where the direction at least that it needs to be going to understand this more. I just read a story, I want to say about a month or so ago, about doctors are starting to believe, or at least neuroscientists are starting to believe, that our thoughts that we have are not really self-originated thoughts. They see these certain parts of the brain light up when you have an idea, when you have a thought, but they don't know where it comes from, and they're thinking that maybe it's coming from somewhere else, coming into us, like, oh, hey, the light bulb clicks on, we all of a sudden have an idea. Do you think that modern science is going in the direction that it needs to better understand these concepts?
Not fast enough. They should actually go back and read John 1. They would get a lot of insight. And, of course, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made through him. Without him, nothing that is. Mm-hmm. And it goes on to say that he is the light of man, that he is literally the source of light that is within us. What that means, and this is what was so extraordinary, was whenever my son told me that thoughts, that he could hear thoughts, I'd had this experience earlier where I had discovered, not from my own doing, but from someone guiding me through this thought process, because we think that matter is what is real.
Right.
That's what we think. We think that the table and the chair are real, but we don't think our thoughts are real. We think that those are indifferent. They're wispy. They go away. They're in, they're out. They're not real.
Yeah.
That's just imagination. That's just a thought. Well, the question that was posed to me was, what was the table or the chair before it was a table or a chair? And most people say the raw material, it was wood or metal or plastic. And the reality is, it was a thought.
Right.
It was an idea.
Yeah.
And then the second question is, if no one had ever thought of the table or a chair, would they exist?
Sure.
And the answer is no, they would not. They cannot self-manifest.
Right.
It requires the thought to produce the actual material. The thing that we think is real is actually not the real thing. The real thing is the thought, the idea.
So does go ahead. Yeah, no. Does this reinforce the idea then of the theory out there that we live essentially in a holographic matrix? If he's able to see so much more, and we see 4% of the frequencies, which I love the fact that you use that term frequency, because audio, video, visuals, whatever it is, for certain frequencies that people can tap into, does that reinforce the idea that this is a shell? This is just nothing more than just a hologram that's just minuscule compared to what's out there?
It doesn't, and I'll explain why. So John Muir, he was a famous conservationist back in the early 20th century under Teddy Roosevelt. He said that if you tried to pick out any one thing, you'd find it was hitched to everything else in the universe. So we are as much a hologram as God is. We are literally made in the image of God. Yeah. We are of God. We are light.
Right.
So this isn't holograph. This isn't just like simulation theory. Like what we don't understand is that spirit comes before matter, and that spirit is fundamentally of intrinsic, eternal worth.
I love that. That's a really great message. We're out of time, Katie. I could talk to you about this for hours. I love this conversation, and we need to learn more about it. But thank you so much for coming on. You got to check out the book of Heaven. Go find it on Amazon, other places. Katie, thank you for the research. Thank you for getting this message out. We got to get you back on and do it again real soon, my friend.
I love it. Thanks so much. Y'all, happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. Have a great one. I love it. We'll get Katie Asher back on the program again real soon. Also, go check out the telepathy tapes with the documentary, the podcast, and so much more. We're back at it again this weekend, back on the show on Monday again. Until then, be your own voice of reason. Be that catalyst for change. We'll see you back on the radio. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. When I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website